to lead the way in providing a sustainable fish harvest.
Hi, I'm Kevin Moynihan and I'm a filmmaker. I'm working with Chris Benjamin, who's just written a book called Eco-Innovators. It's an award-winning book about Atlantic Canadians who are trying in their own ways, in extraordinary ways, to save the planet. The focus of this film is food. If you're concerned about where your food comes from, if it's safe, if the fish that you buy at your grocery store is actually the fish you think you're buying, there's a project called Off the Hook here in Halifax that engages fish harvesters in the Bay of Fundy and shoppers, young and old, who buy their fish at the farmers market. They get together and the project really ensures that the fish that they buy is the fish that's caught in the Bay of Fundy that week. What we'd like to do is create 3 more 8-minute documentaries in the Green Gourmet series. You can read about them below. If you like Off the Hook, that's my competence, and if you like the content of the book, that's Chris. Together we make a good team. Enjoy the film.
So hello, my name's Chris Benjamin. I'm the author of Eco-Innovators, Sustainability in Atlantic Canada. One of my personal favorite chapters in the book is called Choosing Sustainable Foods. And it's all about how we can reconnect to our food supply. We've become disconnected to the point where we depend on multinationals to provide our food from all over the world, and we have no idea who produced it or how it was produced, where it came from even most of the time. Today we're talking about sustainable fish, and we're here at the Old Halifax Farmers Market to meet with the fishermen and the consumers who are buying their fish. This was something I really wanted to be part of and learn more about and get the story behind, and it was just such a great example of Atlantic Canadians doing something really innovative to lead the way in providing a sustainable fish harvest. So I thought it was a great story for the book.
Ordinarily, our fish is put on a truck and trucked to Boston, shipped to Boston from Digby, Nova Scotia, from the islands, from Briar Island, from Long Island. Everything goes on a truck and goes to Boston. Has a large enough population center that our fish becomes a commodity immediately. Doesn't matter if it's caught with a hook or caught with a net. It doesn't matter if we caught it today and brought it in. It can still sit in someone's fish plant for up to 15 days before it's shipped. Building a market in Halifax where we can sell the fish on our own, it sort of cuts out the middleman, but it's not really exactly what it's all about. What we're trying to do is create a different market for high quality, fresh fish that's been fairly caught.
Off the Hook is a community-supported fisheries project which provides fresh, local, sustainably harvested fish to consumers and provides a fair price for the catch to the harvesters. It's modeled off of the community-supported agriculture sort of model. So in that sort of model, you would pay up front at the beginning of a season to a farmer or a farm, and in return you get weekly shares of produce or whatever the farmer produces. So in our case, it's fish. People sign up at the beginning of the season. They choose how much fish they want to receive each week, and then each week they show up to their designated pickup spot, and they pick up their weekly share of fish. Off the Hook was started by a group of bottom longline fishermen from the Bay of Fundy. So they target haddock and cod and hake. Those are the fish that they catch. So these are sort of small scale, owner-operated vessels. They're longliners, so they don't drag anything over the ocean floor. There's no trawler or net involved in this. They use a string of line with hooks attached to it every meter or so. The hooks are baited, so they'll go out and lay a string of baited hooks along the ocean floor, then wait a while and hope the fish bite, and then bring in the line and hope that there's fish on it.
2 in a row, woo!
So they handle the fish one at a time as they come out of the water. They go into a big bin, and while they're at sea, they do what we call dressing the fish. So they'll bleed the fish and gut it, and then they slush it down, which means they'll put it in a vat of half water and half ice, and they'll salt that down even further to bring the temperature right down. So they treat the fish much differently than you'd see on sort of an industrial fishing vessel, where the fish comes in and thousands of pounds of fish go into a hold and get crushed by other thousands of pounds of fish and ice. These fish are literally floated in a vat of slush. So the quality of the fish, not only is the method that they're using much more benign in terms of the environment, but the quality of the fish, because the way it's been handled, is just it's notably different. You can tell just by looking at it that it's been handled sort of by hand in a much more gentle way.
I've got some fish I caught in there from yesterday. There's a cod I got from yesterday. There's a hake, nice and stiff. The salt in the water sort of stiffens them right up, cools them off quickly. If you get them in there right away, you can't leave them on the deck for an hour, they go soft. That's a haddock. Stiffened them right out in the slush. Just slushy water.
So I came from Newfoundland, my family, and we come from a long line of fishermen, and it's nice to be able to be part of something similar here. And it's something we like to instill in our children to keep going, hopefully for generations, to protect the stock of the fish. It's nice and fresh, so we know that it's caught the day before, and we know where we're getting it from. My children like to be part of it when we bring home the fish, and at home they follow where the boat's going online, and it's something we like to be able to instill in them, that they know where the fish is coming from and how it's being caught.
So we have 200 subscribers sometimes. I don't know, we might be up to 300 by now. And I know a lot of them by name. They certainly all know me by name, and the other two fishermen who deliver fish to the co-op feel the same way. That we didn't really realize it, but we actually kind of like meeting people who eat our fish. We weren't too keen on it in the beginning. We thought the customer fisherman relationship wasn't really all that attractive, but now it's our favorite part of what we do. It's selling our fish to customers who enjoy it. We've never had that luxury before.
The key thing that fish harvesters get out of this is they are empowered to set their own price. So rather than taking whatever price the buyer gives them, they're the ones who know what their expenses are, and they're the ones who know what they need to make per pound to make a living. So if they're just forced to take whatever price is given to them, then half the time they're out there losing money. And like any other business, you can't go out and lose money every day and survive. So that's the key thing that Off the Hook does. It flips it. It flips fish harvesters from being price takers to price setters.
My jacket's still 3 or 4 years old. I'm not driving a nice car. My boat's a real old bucket, but it's enough to keep me on the water, and I'm doing a job I love, so I don't need a lot of money to do it. I just don't like to pay to work. It's a fair wage, yes.
More and more consumers are looking for a connection to the food that they eat, and to some extent in the agricultural world, through farmers markets and things like that, people do have a connection to the sort of terrestrial food system when they put the effort in to make that connection. But for some reason, for seafood, it's harder. It's harder to establish a direct connection to fishermen or fish harvesters and fishing communities. So Off the Hook does that. It builds a direct connection between consumers and the people who catch the fish.